Take it away, Kozan.
All right, let me try to see where your eyes are at first. There's a lot of people here again. All right, in the bottom right side, we have a Polish Protoss. He's not playing the pink this time, but he is in the red. He's from Alpha X. It is ArT.
And his opponent here spawning in the upper left in the blue. He is the captain for Team Liquid, or from Team Liquid. Maybe not the captain for Team Liquid. He is Harstem.
What do you think is going to happen here, Biomove? What do you think is going to take this one?
I gotta favor Harstem, right? As much as I love the up-and-comer story, as much as, you know, we're not supposed to be biased as this is B stream, but yeah, as much as I am a fan of Alpha X, I gotta favor Harstem. He has the experience. He has the experience. He has been playing at this high level for a good bit of time. And ArT, I mean, he's a relative newcomer to the highest levels of the scene. Yes, he is playing in Korea now. Yes, he has entered that hyperbolic time chamber, but that also means we're playing on Europe, and he's playing with ping from Korea. So with that being said, I mean, he's got the disadvantage in terms of, well, experience. He's got the disadvantage in terms of just having to play with ping. So I don't know. I think Harstem's a pretty strong favorite here in this series.
Yeah, you make a really good case. I mean, I think so as well that ArT, if he does want to win, this strong normal game might be a difficult one. So maybe just catching Harstem off guard or something like that. It's not like they're out, you know, it's not outside of his wheelhouse. Something that he would be capable of. Is Harstem actually, did he scout that pylon there on the low ground with that probe?
You know, he did not see it, and that's actually a really interesting pylon.
That's big. Yeah. Just wants to give Harstem the heebie-jeebies, right? He wants Harstem to be freaking out a little bit, not knowing what's going to happen next.
Yeah, a little bit of a Schrodinger's pylon, I guess. I mean, this is not a proxy pylon. He's not going to build anything there, at least as far as we can see. The probe's already gone. Again, I thought the era of just dropping a pylon on the map to drop a pylon on the map was kind of over in PvP. We don't really see it nearly as much as we used to, but he's making Harstem freak out a little bit. Notice Harstem, this probe is going everywhere on the map. He's like, oh God, you only have 2 pylons. What are you doing? And
yeah, he still didn't see.
No, he did not. Oh man, look at this probe. It's going everywhere. Harstem is well and truly confused in this game. But,
yeah, but he didn't send any other probes out to scout, right? He was very still in his own base. He just made 2 stalkers, and they're looking out right now, but it's not like he lost extra mining time because of it, which is sometimes a response that we see.
Absolutely. So behind this, we have a Twilight Council on the way here for ArT. Harstem, he's got a natural on the way, so he's going to be going for a bit more, you know, economic focus to more, I don't know, we talked about whether ArT can win a straight-up game. Well, Harstem is going in that direction, right? He's got a natural on the way doing all that, but this is 1-gate blink. I mean, we're going to have a natural eventually, I assume, but again, no, I'm sorry. This is 3-gate blink here. This is a rather aggressive build here from ArT.
Yeah, he's building shield batteries still as well. I believe that is just in his main mineral line. But he is building, yeah, there we go. Pylon now right on that slither of minerals there. Kind of separating a potential third and the natural, or the, yeah, and the potential 4th or 5th or whatever you may call it. The central base there at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, so we do have this pylon. Oh, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just wanted to say it's a pretty nice way to get your units here, right? Just you can choose which side on the minerals you want to be, and once the battle starts, you can then start whopping in on the other side. So
yeah, absolutely. And this is so blink is done in about 40 seconds here. ArT, this is 3-gate pressure, by the way. That's what it starts with. So he's going to show up with actually a lot of stalkers, 9 stalkers to 4 here. And actually, what is that? Okay, that's just a hallucinated Phoenix. So 9 stalkers to 4 here. Yes, there is a shield battery. But the army for ArT, it is more powerful now, even if it is 9 stalkers to 6. But blink is done in like 50 or like 25 seconds, and that is going to make this army so much more powerful. So, but I think we're going to see here to start is ArT says, look, I'm going to posture. If I can get any damage done, that's going to be rather nice. And if I can knock down any sentries, right, that's the big deal here. And then what we're going to have blink done now, and now this is ArT's time to maybe get something done, because again, the longer this lasts, the worse it is for him. And notice ArT, he realized that this is hallucination. He says, yeah, no, you don't have an immortal here. Let's not waste time here on that. But even then, he does waste a shot. And as he moves on in, I mean, there are 2 shield batteries here. This is not an easy break.
It's a very tough thing to break indeed. It's the cannon now as well, just shooting away. So far, they've traded equally. And that's, of course, not really the best thing for ArT here. Almost painting himself in a corner once again, trading 1 for 1. But yeah, he's kind of stuck here, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a natural, right? He has no designs on a natural. This is well and truly just spending as many orphans as possible on 3 gateways. And I like this, by the way. You get
this
one
could be
adept.
fun, yeah.
I would like maybe a couple more, but you just get a couple of... Oh, wait, he's going to let the adept shade on in, which means he gets on top of these shield batteries. One is... Oh, he's just going to get the pylon? No, he's going to get the second shield battery here. And now there's so much less defense, no pylon as well, which means the Stalker's warping in. This is such a fantastic move here for ArT. There is nothing that really defends these Stalkers. I mean, yes, there's a Guardian Shield, but look how much the army supply is dropping. Harstem was doing a fantastic job of making it a little bit more equal. Probes did have to get pulled, but at the end of the day, the probes being pulled are enough here. And Harstem, he has a 14 worker lead.
Yeah, man, I was just thinking to myself, how is ArT gonna try to get himself blunk up onto that high ground? And you see the adept going, and it was a wonderful maneuver there, as he's just like, all right, well, no, now we just go for the shield batteries. I'm not entirely certain if it was enough to really do anything. Well, it was a cool maneuver. He's kind of stuck in the same place now again here. Let me take a look at the Stalker numbers. It is 15 versus 8. So that is growing. Let's see if he has enough firepower now. The probe's not yet being pulled. ArT is, well, killing the Stalkers.
Yeah, he's
There's
going to
so many
the
probes
Stalkers
still.
once again, and all the Stalkers are dead on the low ground. This is actually... I mean, I guess you got sentries with tickle beams, but this is actually starting to be... No, never mind. We have Stalkers on the high ground.
Yeah. The micro there from Harstem was very nice as well with the probes. You kept, microing them past the Stalkers, so he would get good service area over there, and he just kept those probes doing maximum damage also. Very well played by both players. Cool strategies being used, and you know what? It makes me wonder what's gonna happen in game number 2.
Yeah, you know what's a bit interesting, I think? We talked about this a little as we got into the games, but ArT, he's playing from Korea, right? He does have that ping disadvantage. And when I see a player go, and they go for a build that is micro heavy, right? They go blink Stalkers, it's a 1 base all in. When you have a significant ping disadvantage that Harstem is dealing with, well, sorry, that ArT was dealing with in this game, that's not all that great. That's really not all that great for the player that does have that ping disadvantage. So I like the idea from ArT, right? Knock your opponent out early when you do have a disadvantage, but I feel like that only really works when you're able to micro properly. We did see a couple misclicks there where he went in and he moved forward, and I mean he ate like 3 Stalker shots, had to blink backwards without really getting anything, and again that ping did cause a problem. But game number 2. It's coming up next. It will be on 2,000 atmospheres, and that is going to be a bit bigger, or that is going to be a bit bigger of a map. Or maybe, actually, no, it was a Ranticide game 1. It's not necessarily that much bigger of a map, but maybe he goes for something a little bit more macro style. Maybe,
yeah. I wouldn't mind to see it. I mean, we know they both can bring that out, and it would be fun to see it at least, going head to head in that style once in this series, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think ArT, I mean, he's a promising up-and-coming player. He absolutely has the ability to win these games. But whether he has the ability and whether he actually will are 2 different questions. So I think, honestly, late game... Ooh, we need to invite you to the lobby. There we go.
There you go.
I think... Oh, go ahead.
No, I just want to say thank you.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, yeah. I mean, we do have stream preview for you, but that would be rather sad if you had to go off of a clean feed. Anyway, I think PvP, when you go into the late game, right, when we look at mirror matchups here, PvP is probably one of the most elegant late game mirror matchups, right? TVT, people used to love it. It seems to be getting a little bit less popular now. I don't know. It's not, honestly, I think TVT is my least favorite mirror, but that's really just because I love ZVZ, and I know I'm really kind of the strange person in that. But, I think it's really cool. Hydra Lurker Viper makes me very happy. But when we talk about other things, I mean, wow. Blink Stalker Disruptor, when you get into mass Sky Toss versus Blink Stalkers, all that fun stuff. The games do get crazy, they do get exciting, and I'm a big fan. But anyways, game number 2 now, it's loaded on up. It's going to be Harstem versus ArT. Harstem is that 1-0 lead. Let's go.
All right, in the top right side, we do have a blue Protoss hailing from the Netherlands. It's Team Liquid's very own Harstem.
And his opponent here spawning in the bottom left in the red, looking to strike back in game number 2 from Alpha X. He is ArT. Now tell me, Kozen, game number 1, right? ArT, he attempted to make a painting. Maybe his oils had spoiled. Maybe the pigments had gotten a little bit off. What type of artwork is he going to make in game number 2?
You know what? I wouldn't be too surprised if he tries something similar. I mean, he's a smart guy. He probably realizes as well that with like ping disadvantage and stuff like this, it's going to be very difficult trying to do any sorts of late game micro battles with disruptors and stuff being involved as well. So I would still imagine ArT trying to sort this one out in the earlier time period, or at least try to get an advantage, a significant enough advantage.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But I mean, again, I think in a game where all else is equal, right, where it's just a matter of player skill, absolutely, you go for that, or player experience, whatever the case may be, things that are in the control of the player. You absolutely do something like that. But again, when it's like, I don't know, 600 milliseconds to 50, or 300 to 50, or whatever it is that ArT is dealing with, a lot of these early game styles, they rely so heavily on micro.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Pullback micro, whatever, that I don't know. It makes sense from a game strategy perspective, right? How do I plan this series? Sure. But from just from a realistic, these are the mechanics of the game, I don't know. Yeah, so if you were to go that route, you would kind of hope as well that it would go unnoticed for a while, right? So, for example, you just suddenly, DT rush, or like suddenly Blink Stalkers go into the main base and you try to gain the elements of surprise over, just having to do that micro battle. Yeah, so if we do, then I think you're right there. If we do see something that does really end on the more aggressive side of the spectrum, I do think we see something that is closer to like a DT rush or a proxy Stargate or something that is intended to cripple your opponent, maybe even kill your opponent, but doesn't require, prolonged blink micro, pullback micro, anything like that. That really, I mean, that's not totally fair. Everything at this level does require a bit of micro, but on the scale of micro versus macro, on the scale of build order versus micro, we want things that are more on the strategic side versus the tactical side.
Right, yeah, you wanna try to do whatever you can to win this, right? So you're trying to find the best way to optimize those odds. And yeah, you just got to take those things into consideration sometimes. Twilight Council coming up here, as well as, I mean, they're both going for the Nexus. So if ArT is trying to plan anything sneaky here, it might come off a 2 base, but we'll have to just sit tight for a little bit longer.
And I do like this map in general for a more macro oriented game. I mean, it's not quite as big as Romanticide, and in fact, Romanticide is probably our most just solid standard macro build, or macro map, if we want to talk about it like that. 2000 Atmospheres is similar in that, it's big. It has a 3 base setup that is pretty similar to like a Death Aura or an Eternal Empire, where your linear 3 bases are kind of on a platform. Granted, there is no low ground outside of the 3rd base here. Not immediately, but you do have that choke, so it is a little bit easier to hold. And the standard in PvP, especially as we do see Blink on the way from both players, a Forge on the way from Harstem, none from ArT though, so he may actually try to get aggressive here, but the standard, right, in PvP, you get your 3rd base, you get your +1, you get your Blink. You kind of realize that neither ArT nor Harstem, neither you nor your opponent, are really able to break the other before you get to like 66 workers, 3 bases, charge, whatever whether it's disruptors, whether it's archons, whatever you decide to go on into. But again, we don't see a Forge yet. We see an additional gateway on the way here for ArT, so he may be opting for some sort of 2-base pressure here, especially considering, Blink is getting chronoed out a little bit, so he had a minor advantage in Blink timing, and it's getting just a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I would expect as well, I was thinking, would you try to get a robo with this also, but we're having the pylon across the map, which makes me think that he's going to rely on a gateway placement there perhaps to try and get warpins. Immediately getting scouted though, that's unfortunate. And
yeah,
that's the robo now as well.
And ArT, he wants to get aggressive here. I think that's, again, we talked about this extensively in the game earlier on. He wants to get something done early. He does not feel, he appears, and I think rightly so, he does not really feel confident in the late game But I mean, Harstem is also aware of this. He's like, yeah, okay, I see what's happening here. He will not be able to kill the pylon because there will be warp-ins coming on in, but I mean, he knows what's up here. We should see, there we go, shield batteries on in the natural. Do we have any immortals on the way? No, we don't. But we do have an observer, which will allow him to be a little bit more defensive. But ArT, he's not committing to this super hard, even as he does blink on into the main base. Oh, he's gonna depower everything.
There we go, good blink in with a hallucinated Phoenix. He's gonna try to take a fight as well. Targeting down those sentries. No, just one of them. There we go, does get a couple more. It's not a bad move overall. He's trading out pretty nicely. Those Stalkers of Harstem definitely caught in between the buildings.
Yeah, and ArT behind this is, I was talking about two-base aggression. Yes, it is two-base aggression, but it's not two-base all-in. Not in any way, shape, or form. We do have a third base on the way, and yes, there's a forge on the way. It's going to be very late, though, so honestly, Harstem's going to have an opportunity to go up 2 upgrades for a brief period of time here if he feels that he has the money to make that happen. +2 is expensive, but there we go. It is on the way here now. And what I think we're going to see, actually, because we do have more Stalkers warping in time after time, I think we're going to see ArT actually hit with a charge lot timing after this, right? Yeah, yes, a third base is on the way. Additional gateways are on the way. Sure, but charge lots, they are very good against Stalkers. They can help you make up maybe just a little bit for that upgrade differential, because again, +1 blink Stalkers versus +0, it's not the most exciting time.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a while before ArT has that tied up again, if he ever will. Both are making immortals now. 4 more gateways for ArT, but wondering. I like, by the way, that Harstem went for the observer there, because you don't quite know. Sometimes you do see people immediately starting up that immortal production, right? Gotta be safe, and with that in mind overall, and then you just there's still a potential for DTs, right? Your opponent did open up with the Twilight Council. It could still happen. So overall, I like the idea of getting that observer.
Yeah, I do too. It gives you so much utility. It lets you know if there's your opponent that's looking to blink on into your main base. Although I don't think it came out quite in time for that last attack. But here, look at this. We got a bit of a dichotomous move here from ArT and Harstem. Right, Harstem, he's going for Blink Stalker Disruptor. That makes sense. He's a little bit behind from a macro perspective here. Although actually he's up in workers, even as his third base is not yet done. So ArT, I mean, he did cut workers to make that happen, I guess. But well, there goes that argument. But realistically here, Harstem, he's going to go Blink Stalker Disruptor, right? That is a build that requires a lot more reaction time, a lot more micro ability. And if you feel like you're behind it all, again, Harstem's third base was delayed quite a bit. Well, you get Disruptors, and it is the most powerful comeback unit really in the game. Granted, Harstem, he doesn't really need to come back from this scenario. He's got +2. His opponent just finished +1, so he's got a 1 upgrade lead. I mean, he's in a very good spot. But, well, take advantage of the ping disadvantage, I guess.
Yeah, I like the army composition choice for ArT here with that in mind as well. It's a little bit less micro-intensive. It comes a lot more down to just your unit placements. Are you in the right spot? Are you, not just clumped up? When you do engage, are you spread out a little bit? Do you got a good arc? Stuff like this becomes a lot more important, of course. And, well, we'll have to see if he's going to be able to get such an engagement. Looking forward a bit aggressively. A couple of Stalkers for Harstem up to no good on the other side of the map.
So yeah, we have 1 Disruptor shot coming out now. It's only going to get 1 Zealot, but ArT, you got to pay attention here. That's going to be a lot bigger. And now, I don't know if he can make this push happen. He's down an upgrade, right? He's down tech. Yeah, he's got a decent amount of chargelets as he look to warp on in, but their shield batteries, their shield battery overcharged. These Disruptors are going to get another shots off. Well, not if the Stalkers playing on top of them, I guess, but no, they're just going to get the shield battery overcharge here. And this is just not enough here for ArT. Not in this, really just not in this pace here whatsoever. Ooh. And the Disruptor shots, they're going to get off anyways.
Yeah, that's rough. Trying to blink on top of it, but it's just not enough DPS anymore. The Stalkers weren't up to it. And look at this army of Harstem here. That is very, very strong looking still. And most likely will go across the map in order to try and take out a base of ArT here at minimum. I mean, he might just finish him off here, right?
Yeah, this is an underwater map, of course, and that means ArT is in deep trouble. There we have it. GG Harstem with the 2